Hello, everyone. My name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about one of my most anticipated movies of this summer. It is the Tupac biopic, All Eyes on Me.
Let's get it.
All eyes on me. Little life is a thug nigga until the day I die. Little life is a boss player. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. Little life is a thug nigga until the day I die. Little life is a boss player. All eyes on me.
All Eyes on Me is a biopic about the life of rapper Tupac Shakur. The execution of the story in this movie plays out exactly like it did in the 2003 released documentary called Tupac Resurrection. The Tupac documentary tells the story of a black man who grew up with his mother that was a member of the Black Panther movement. Later on, his mother went to jail for charges while the unborn Tupac was still in the womb. In the documentary, Tupac states that his embryo was cultivated in prison, which means that the oppression of black society in America is unjust, and yet our minds may be free, but our bodies are instantly trapped. The documentary shifts through different periods of time throughout Tupac's life. We as an audience get a clear enough picture as to who Tupac was as a person, but the events surrounding him are things that perpetuate his life moving forward. Who was Tupac? When you try to break down all of his actions and analyze him from a spectator standpoint, it's difficult to get an accurate read on him because of all of the embedded preconceived notions about his life. We, from the outside looking in, may never truly know who this man was. The thing that I take away from watching all of his interviews and the videos is that this man may have been a little misguided. Tupac's heart was in the right place, but in my opinion, when you're trying to grow in a place where half of the people surrounding you are vultures, then your mind may become a little clouded. Now, does this mean that I should judge the man based on his actions? No. I shouldn't judge him because I don't know him. We as individual people sometimes have no idea what another person's mind is going through. And so I think we should consider that all of us are currently human and we all make mistakes. We only truly grow as people when we are aware of our mistakes and we acknowledge them. We may not be able to right the wrongs of the past. However, we are certainly capable and able to right the wrongs of the future, which is something I feel that Tupac was doing within himself and towards his community. But unfortunately, his life was cut short at the age of 25. I would say that this movie is only accessible to Tupac fans because the events depicted in here are taken right from the documentary. I can't imagine someone who knows nothing about Tupac walking away from this movie saying, hey, this movie delivered a deep, informative perspective on this man's life. I would say that this movie might make certain people curious and want to watch the documentary. And I would go as far as to say, I recommend that. Watch the documentary because I believe that it fills in the holes that this movie left behind. I would also say that the documentary and the movie cater to each other exceptionally well. With the movie and documentary put together, I feel that the viewer would be able to gain a wider perspective on Tupac's life and his situations. The events that were depicted throughout this movie felt scattered. It didn't hold on to one situation for too long, and I know that Tupac's life was filled to the brim with events, and so it may have been difficult to capture each moment in its essence, but I felt like the movie could have drawn the events out longer so that they truly soaked in and marinated with the audience. I just feel like the movie goes from here to there, writing off a checklist, and to me, I just feel like the director should have been like, hey, I'm the director, and so we need to build solid foundations with the character of Tupac and the cast of characters that are in his life. And he just didn't do that. Demetrius Shipp Jr. plays the man himself, Tupac Shakur. His performance was believable. When I saw his face and heard his voice, I was like, Tupac is indeed resurrected for the big screen. I could barely find any holes within his performance except for a couple of mannerism actions that came off as a tad bit stiff. But other than that, he was great. Diana Guerrera, I'm sorry, I probably butchered her name, but she plays Tupac's mother, Afena Shakur, and this lady is the star of the show. During the first few moments, though, I thought her performance was hammy, but as everything progressed with her scenes and Demetrius Shipp Jr., it all shaped out and came together perfectly. She was great as well. Jamal Willard is back as Biggie Smalls from B.I.G.'s Notorious movie, and it looks like he's just sleepwalking throughout this entire thing. Kat Graham plays Jada Pinkett, and in the movie, she kind of bears a resemblance to her, which is good, but the downside to that is that she does nothing with her character in this movie. It just establishes the fact that, Jada Pinkett and Tupac are friends, and that's it. You also have Keith Robinson in here, who wears a highly noticeable and terribly bad hairpiece. You also have Dominique L. Santana, who plays a really good version of Suge Knight here. And you also have this kid who plays an 11-year-old Tupac, and he's terrible. It felt good to hear all of the classic Tupac songs from Brenda's Got a Baby to Keep Your Head Up. I will admit I was fanboying out every time I heard a classic Tupac song. One scene in particular comes to mind. There is a scene with Tupac and Afena and the song Keep Your Head Up, and I admit that scene made me cry just a little bit. However, all of this nostalgia doesn't excuse the fact that this movie has no dimensions to it whatsoever. I'm glad that Hollywood has made a Tupac movie because it's been long overdue. But this one just isn't it. In the hands of director Benny Boom, this felt like a TV movie, and it should have felt like a movie that was larger than life. It just plays out like a checklist of things that they gotta get through, like, it's like, you know about Tupac's life? Well, here that is. You also know about this too? Well, here that is. This movie caters to the people who already know these things, and it doesn't try to bring in newbies because I feel that someone who doesn't know virtually anything won't pick up on the broader scope of Tupac's life, and they won't walk away from this knowing who the man was overall because this movie just skids through everything without giving it a second thought. There were moments in the movie when I was like, who the fuck is this character? Why the fuck is he here? This character disappeared, now they're back, and what the hell do they have to do with anything? To me, the character of Tupac and the relationships surrounding him were not fully flushed out. The only relationship they built upon here, slightly, was the relationship between Tupac and his mother, and that's it. I look at it like this. Tupac did many things throughout his 25 short years on this planet. It may be difficult to capture every moment of this man's life in a single frame. Thinking about it now, this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. They should have added 30 more minutes, got a new director, built stronger character relationships, and flushed out this man's life, giving us a clear, in-depth, intimate amount of details. It was good to hear all of the classic Tupac music. Demetrius Shipp Jr. and the chick who played Afena were great in their roles, but the movie really didn't leave a lasting impression on me. Would I watch this thing again? Probably not. Because I'd rather watch the documentary, and I feel like the documentary has a lot more life in it. I had high hopes for this movie, and I won't say that I'm disappointed, but I will say that this film is lackluster. It just hits certain beats and writes off certain checklists, and it's just like, hey, remember Tupac? All these things happened, check. And it's just like, to me, this movie could have been so much more. It could have been so much deeper, more meaningful, and just had a richer story overall. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.